If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, I'm Lindsay, and I make fly fishing and fly tying videos to encourage you to give fly fishing a go. On this channel you will find videos that cover fly tying for beginners to experienced tyers. The fishing videos cover disciplines from river, bank and boat. If this sounds like your bag, you're in the right place. I hope you enjoyed today's video, so without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back to the river test on the Broadlands estate. Now, if you follow the channel, you'll know that I competed in the Grayling Classic here, held on the test. Now, for competitive purposes, we were targeting the smaller fish. So shots, some of the guys call them. They're between 10 centimetres and 20 centimetres. So much smaller fish, but you get them in much larger numbers using dry fly and delicate duo tactics. Now, I've come back because I know that there's better fish in the river. And what I want to try and do today is catch some of them better grayling. Now, because I'm only going to be fishing for the larger fish, I don't want to be catching them little shots that we had in the Grayling Classic. I'm only going to be bringing one rod along with me. So I've brought the A. Jensen Competition Nymph. This is an 11-foot rod for a 3-weight, and its unique selling point, if you like, is you can vary the tips from power, medium and fine, which gives you different actions depending on the size of the fish you've caught. Now, believe it or not, I've still stuck with the GMC Yoto 30. If you've been following the channel for some time, you'll know I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with these semi-automatic reels. I love the efficiency of them, but I'm not keen when you catch a fish and they won't give line, you end up getting snapped off, which is never a good thing when you've been hard pressed to try and find a better fish. But it does happen sometimes, that's fishing. So I've come here with some friends today. I'm with Julian and Adam and Peter, who have gone further downstream because they reckon some of the bigger fish might be sitting in them deeper holes, and I expect they're correct. The Grayling now we're past October, we're into November, it's still very warm. I've only got a t-shirt on underneath this really, and I'm still quite warm. So the weather's alter pot in the UK, let's face it, it's been so mild this November. It's ridiculous really. I mean, we're into late autumn now and the temperatures just don't seem to drop. I can recall one frost all year so far. Usually we're well into the grips of the colder weather, but it's not happening. So how are we going to best target the better fish? Well, I believe you've got to find the deeper holes where the fish are comfortable. Now, I've always said that you'll find the most grayling in walking paced water. It's a comfortable power of the water for them. They can sit in that stream no problem at all and dip in and out of faster currents when they're feeding. Now, the feeding window might only be short, and although I've been fishing this morning and I've been fishing with some quite big nymphs, well, by my reckoning, big nymphs. So I've got a size 14 on the point and I've got a size 16 on the top dropper, which is fairly big for me for grayling. I've still been catching the little shots. I've had 6 or 7 grayling to the 20 centimetre mark, and I've had 8 brown trout, only small but still brown trout as well. Only small fish attacking these bigger flies, but what they're trying to do is bulk up for the winter months. They really want to start feeding up now in time for January and February, where there's hardly any food about, and they'll be close into the margins, resting up, trying to conserve energy. So I'm going to get back in the river and see if I can't catch some fish. Well, we've just had an amazing lunch. Thanks very much to Julian, who got the barbecue stuff out. We've had burgers, sausages, halloumi. There was even some beers to be had if you were of a mind. And Peter kindly provided a little tot of Redbreast 12-year-old, a very nice dram if you're in the market for whisky. So we probably spent a lot longer than we should have having lunch, spinning a few yarns, telling a few whisky stories and telling a few fishing stories. We're now into the afternoon session. The guys fared not too bad in the morning. There was a couple of fish over 40 came out, but for my part, my best fish probably been about 35 centimetre. I didn't bother measuring it. It wasn't a particularly big fish. But we've still got a couple of hours of daylight to see if we can't get something better. And I've come to a beat I had in the Grayling Classic actually. This is, I call it the honey hole, because just behind the tree it goes from between 2 and 4 feet right into a hole, and generally there's some good grayling sitting in that hole. So I might have to heavy up my bugs a little bit. I'll go from a 2.5mm bead maybe up to a 3.5mm bead and see how we get on with that. I'm fishing 2 flies on about 6 foot of tippet, and the flies are only about 1.5 foot apart, but hopefully I'll be able to pick up something decent in this run. So still just picking up the small grayling. I suppose they all need love. I was really hoping for something a little bit bigger from this hole. Yeah, I have got quite a small fly on my top dropper now, so it's probably around a size 18. My point fly is on a size 16 with a 3mm bead. And so what I'm hoping is that's going to take me down. The flow's actually a lot less than I was expecting. I might lighten up. It's an absolutely stunning day to be on the river. There's been a named storm come through actually just recently, and there has been a lot of rain in other parts of the country, but we seem to have escaped that. And to be fair, the rain has been much needed. The river's now probably at a depth where I would say this is the depth it should be. Maybe still a little low for this time of year. Very often the river can be up its banks, but I think the whole country's been needing some water, and we've had plenty of that in the last few days. So basically I've got my indicators maybe about 6 inches above the water. I would usually have it a little higher, but I'm having trouble seeing it in this flat light, so I just want to be able to see any indication. So I felt something there, but I think it was the bottom. If you're not sure, you're best hitting it. There's no point just thinking, oh, it's just the bottom, because that time you don't hit an indication is the time it'll be a fish, and then you'll regret it for the rest of the day. So I'm just going to lengthen up my cast, and what I want to try and do is get a little further down into the hole. So this hole extends down beyond this tree, and sometimes the fish can lie just at the other side. Right, I'm going to get myself up levels of wading. Hopefully I don't go in. This microphone is not waterproof. Remember that, Lindsay, not waterproof. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my point fly. I'm going to try going a little bit heavier just in this really deep hole. I can't tell you how deep it is, but I just feel like my flies are not getting down deep enough. So I'm going to get on something a little bit more heavy and see if that helps the situation. If you would like to be informed when I release new content, consider subscribing to the channel. It's absolutely free and you can unsubscribe at any time. If you're watching on the television, click up again, then across to the right and you'll find the like button. I would really appreciate it if you can give that a little click.
So 4 turns down through the loop. Strangely enough, that made me look half competent. It's not usually as quick as that, I've got to be honest. So I've gone a little heavier, and we'll see how we go with that. Oh yeah, that's moving much nicer. I think the problem I was having, it's deceptive because it looks quite calm, but the flow is much faster below the surface. I just wasn't getting below that. So my flies were kind of stagnating. That's a reasonable fish, I think. I don't think it's massive, but it's not too bad. And it is a Grayling. Been plagued by trout today, sadly. Some of the boys are saying there's a few sea trout as well coming off. So they're steadily getting bigger. And that change of weight's helped. I've almost immediately got into fish. Now, let's hope that he's gone back to tell his parents. I've just missed another one there. That was my own fault, just not getting my... So when you cast out, you've got to lift immediately. Get that indication, get your indicator in sight. So that any twitch, very often Grayling will take on the drop. So get your rod up straight away and then track your flies. Lift and lead, lift and lead. Now sometimes it pays to just fish it all the way, and I've caught more fish than I care to recall on what we call the dangle. So once you've fished, tracked your nymphs through, and I'm just following the contours of the riverbed now. I can feel my fly ticking bottom, and that's perfect. But once you've tracked your nymphs through, it's always worth letting them drift downstream, and hopefully you'll snag yourself a bonus fish. And as I'm doing that, I'm lowering the rod tip towards the water, and what will be happening, the nymphs will be kicking up from the bottom, and sometimes that can be irresistible to Grayling. Ah! Missed one there, annoying. Didn't see my indicator go, but I just felt I'm a little too late. Very often when you're doing this sort of European style nymphing, people talk about the indicator, but they hit you that hard, there's not much indication required. They hook themselves up. But just occasionally, when they are a little more tentative, that indicator can be the difference between getting a fish and just getting a little bump at the end there like I got. Just didn't quite register the taking time. Now that I've heavied up, I'm going to step back into the deeper hole of the river. So I can just come under the tree you see. It can be a great spot for the Grayling to hold. So I'm just going to try and get my flies drifting along that current. I've just got to be careful that I don't go over the lip of this deep hole, because that would be disastero. I'm being very brave having the mic on out in the middle of the river. If it drops off or I fall in, that's an expensive day out. There's another small one, I think. Again, no indication required. That's took that as it's hit the water. And believe it or not, it's took the bigger nymph. So failed to connect with any of the really big ladies, which is, oh, hang on, nope, that's very small as well. Oh dearie. That's the trouble with videos. We come out to do a video about catching big grayling, but the fish do get a vote, sadly. That feels a little better, I've got to be honest. But only a little better. I'm going to use my net for this one. They're getting steadily bigger. There's a good reason that grayling are one of my favourite fish. They're just so pretty. Stunning. And on their day they can provide you with sport all day. Regardless of what your poison is, if you like dry fly fishing, the grayling will come and rise to a dry fly. No problem at all. On their day, oh, I just missed another one there. They seem to be coming alive. And I've made a right hash of that. Oh, that might be a showstopper actually. Oh no. Showstopper! Okay. Let's go to the bank and re-rig. I just got a wee bit excited when a fish snatched me off the top. It would have only been a small one, but nonetheless. It has wrecked my cast. Now in a competition, I would have had multiple casts made up, ready to go again. But as it's just been a day out with friends, I'm going to have to do the long route. Well, we've probably got, what, maybe another hour of light left, do you think?
Just hanging in there, Lynn.
Just hanging in, and I can just about still tie flies on, which is, you younger boys still, you'll be no bother. I've had a brilliant day, and I'm really pleased that you invited me along, Adam. Thanks very much for coming.
It's
always
cracking.
A pleasure. And Julian, a fantastic lunch. thoroughly enjoyed it, mate.
The lunch is as important as the fishing, Lindsay.
So the fishing's not that important, actually.
It's
We
not.
did have a good laugh at lunchtime. Thoroughly
Yeah.
enjoyed it. So how have you got on the day, boys?
Yeah, all right. Caught a few good fish. Took us a while from about. I think it took about 10:30. They started taking. Before that, it was quite hard. A few tiddlers, etc. And then like from 10:30 on, we were hitting some better fish.
He's been very modest.
All right.
He's had several in the 40.
Oh, that's good going.
But
Like
he succumbed to the horrible squirmy at the end of the day.
I've-
I chose not to.
you took the higher ground, Adam. You took the higher ground.
I caught all of mine on the dries today, Linz.
It was-
Dry or die.
That's a nymphing rig you've got there. No, it's been a fantastic day. It's always great to come out with a crew, and it's just. I was just going to say, actually, the winter days, they're short, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you've got to get here at first light, and as you can see, the light's fading fast. So I think I've not had anything near the 40s. No, I've probably had one or two that have been near the 40s, but I've had a couple in the 30s, which has been good. It's not really what I came for. I wanted to catch some lumps today, but
It's coloured up, hasn't it? Like the
It's-
colour got gradually worse throughout the day, and now it's quite slow now.
yeah, I've just had a couple of good fish in here. I think we're going to make our way back down before it's too dark to pack up.
A little beer before we pack up.
A wee beer.
Maybe a couple of little honey holes before we finish. It'll
Yeah.
be difficult walking past. I reckon we could winkle one more out.
There's always the favourite spots that you've got to have one last cast.
Exactly.
Yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure, and we'll call it a day with a video.
Cool. Well done, Linz.
Okay,
Great
lovely.
day.
Cheers, buddy.
Mate.
Cheers, mate.
Good to see you.
Good to
Oh,
see
I'd
you.
shake your hand, but
There you go.
We do this
One of
one.
them.
do the first punch.